my darlings. Welcome to True Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark, Chapter 2. If you haven't checked out Chapter 1, please do. That's a list of true creepy accounts. Tonight is a new episode of a list of all new creepy accounts that I'm going to share with you. And hope you enjoy these. I want to say to all my new subscribers, welcome. And I hope you'll enjoy the content. And I'm going to hop into this first one, which is titled, We Found a Leg. It's pretty short, but it's weird. And I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, ready to find out what We Found a Leg is all about? Well, here we go. And like I said, this one's pretty short. This one was shared by a user called Foam83. While cutting lawns along this bike trail, me and a coworker found a mostly decayed, severed from the knee down, leg. The cops were called. They questioned us, and we never found out any more about what happened. I told you that one was short. What was it, like 2 sentences? But, what do you think about that one? That's weird. What's with the leg? It wasn't a chicken leg, was it? No, obviously not. Well, that's creepy. On to this next one. This one's a little longer. This one is titled 2 a.m. Years ago, in the early 90s, my boyfriend was driving me home, and we saw a man lying on the ground in the strangest position, kneeling with his head on the ground and bent at a sharp angle so that he faced the street. It was 2 a.m, and the man was covered in sweat with his eyes open. We pulled over and hopped out of the car to check on this guy. His eyes were wide open, and he seemed like his face wasn't moving, but it really felt like he was pleading for help. He didn't respond at all when called out to him. No blinking, glassy eyes. I reached out to touch him, and he was ice cold. I'm sure he wasn't breathing. This was before cell phones, so I hopped back in the car and we sped back to my house to call 911. 10 minutes later, the police called back to ask for the cross streets again. Apparently, they arrived at the corner and there was nothing there. I verified that they had the right spot, and they said they would call back if they needed any more information. That was the last I ever heard about it. I checked the newspaper for the next few weeks, but we never found out anything else about that man. Now, this story was sent by a user called The Living Road. So what do you think that man was? Was he a ghost? Was he a demon? Angel? Pretty strange. Never found, huh? Ice cold? I think he might have been a ghost. What do you guys think? Whatever. On to the next one. This one is titled, He's Biting Daddy. My 3-year-old baby, who is normally very happy-go-lucky, was extremely concerned the other day. He kept looking around the room, talking about the rhino, Who knows what a 3-year-old might translate as a rhino? This went on for about 20 minutes. He was very concerned and looking around the entire time. So, we get to a point where he says, "The rhino is moving." My wife asks where the rhino is. "He's coming to Daddy." "Yeah, I'm Daddy," and my ass is puckered just a wee bit at that comment. Fast forward about 4 days, last night, and he starts talking about the ghost. My daughter asks my son, "Where is the ghost?" My son says, "He's biting Daddy." What the actual fuck? Now that was sent by a user who's called Quan Fan. What do you guys think about that one? So a ghost was biting Daddy, huh? Must be a real hungry ghost. Does that ghost need some hot sauce? Wow. So your 3-year-old is seeing a ghost biting you. I think the baby might need some help. Or either he's seeing other dimensions or what. I wouldn't want my baby seeing a ghost biting me. I know that. Yikes. That must be a hungry ghost. But if you want to bite on something, you go bite on something else, but not on me. Yeah. Okay. This next one is titled Scratching. We had quite a large house, shaped like an L, but the L was cut into a hill. So of the L had a downstairs, which was almost underground. It had windows facing out, but a lot was either in the hill or under another floor. I had the room on the bottom part of the L from 13 onwards. My room had 2 doors, one that opened out to a kind of rumpus room, and one to an in-suite. It was always creepy, but being a skeptic, I dared anything there to do something to me. Growing up was fine, but I could never sleep unless both doors were shut. When my parents went away, I'd break the rules and bring my dog in to sleep on the bed. I woke a few times late to see her alert and staring at the door to the rumpus room. Occasionally, I'd hear a clawing at the screen on the window. But we had dogs, cats, horses, and the local bush turkeys, foxes, etc. I figured if something was there, that shouldn't have been my dogs would have gone ballistic. Fast forward 5 years, bring a new girlfriend to my home to meet my parents. Slept in my old room. She woke up screaming between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. twice out of the 3 nights we stayed there. Have been with her for 5 years since, and it's only happened in that room. She won't sleep in the house anymore. My parents let my younger sister move into the room about 4 years ago. She asked me recently if I ever heard scratching on the window late at night. Both of the dogs we had, plus the cat and the horses, are all dead, it being roughly 10 years later, so the scratching is likely independent of the pets, unless the local animals are fucking with us. She also said she can't sleep unless both doors are shut, and she'll often put doorstops under both doors so she hears if either door opens. She Googled some stuff and decided to sage the room and said she's had hectic nightmares since and woke up screaming late at night a few times. For reference, she was about 14 when the night terrors happened with my girlfriend, so we never told her. As I said, I'm a skeptic, but it's still pretty creepy. That one was shared by user Torosaur. What y'all think was up with that room? Yeah, it disturbed him so much he's cussing. Wow. I don't know. That sounds creepy. Well, I'm glad they left the room, but I don't know. Weird stuff going on. Is that like dimensional doorways being open or what? I think it's time to call God. What do you think? But on to the next one. This one is titled Road Rage. I was ambling down an old country highway in northwest Georgia on my motorcycle. It was a 750 Vulcan. When I spotted an ambulance coming the opposite way, I pulled over and a pickup truck pulled over behind me. In my rearview mirror, I see the passenger get out with a baseball bat and start hustling my way. I didn't even look, just dropped it into gear and hauled ass. What followed was the most harrowing experience I've had in life, as this pickup truck proceeds to chase me all over the place for about 20 minutes. I'm unfamiliar with the area, and my bike was not meant for going fast around turns, so I've got no room for error, and it's all I can do to stay out in front of these guys. I'm blowing through four-way intersections in a bid to get some distance and come up with a plan, but they are hell-bent on catching me. I finally managed to get pointed towards the highway and into the cover of other cars. But then traffic stops on a bridge. The truck is 3 cars behind me, and I'm thinking, if I can just get out to the highway, I'm probably home free, because my Vulcan can go fairly fast in a straight line. In my mirrors, I can see that passenger sneaking through the cars on the bridge. So I lane split, illegal in Georgia, and make on the on-ramp, hammer down, and I'm gone, baby, gone. Never went back to that town. As far as I know, this was an unprovoked attack from the hillbilly variety, because prior to the ambulance, I hadn't even seen another vehicle. I don't ride particularly fast, and I don't believe in loud pipes. I got lucky as hell seeing him come up behind me like that. Now that one was sent by a user named Lucky Giraffe. Well, that had to be pretty damn creepy to be pursued on your motorcycle. Well, I bet he wasn't feeling like a badass on his motorcycle that night, huh? Wow. Well, I'm glad he got away. Road rage can be a bitch. Yeah. Oh, well, anyway. On to the next one. This one is called 3 a.m. Walk. I am a fairly small for a guy. I stand around 5'5", and the most I've ever weighed was around 150 pounds. About 6 or 7 years ago, I didn't have my license, despite being far old enough to drive, but a good buddy of mine wanted to hang out, He too did not have a way of transport, so we decided to both walk towards one another and meet in the middle. We would both be walking 5 miles. It was 3 a.m. on a cold winter night, and I was wearing a black jacket with my hood up. About 2 miles into my hike along the main road, a car pulled into a parking spot of a home I was passing. Just a few feet behind me, he wasn't entirely into the driveway, almost halfway hanging out into the road. I half expected it was just a kind stranger wanting to give me a ride, but I wasn't about to take any rides from anybody. I kept pacing forward and ignored the car behind me, expecting them to roll down a window and shout out to me. It didn't happen. The car just sat at the edge of that driveway, running, but completely dark inside, to the point that I could only barely make out the figure of a large man. I don't typically get frightened by much, but something in the air made me tense up, and my heart kind of dropped to my stomach. I stopped and turned to look at the car. I had a feeling that the person driving was watching me intently. The figure in the car was definitely facing me. I could see the reflection from his dash bouncing off of his eyes. I stared back. I figured he was about to yell out to me, but he just sat quietly in a strangely menacing way that I have only ever seen scenes in a movie play out. I kinda did a wave at the figure, letting him know I saw him, and waited for some type of communication in return. He didn't budge, just stared intently. I returned to pacing away, slightly brisker. After just a few moments, I could hear the car slowly roll in reverse. So I turned to face it, but kept pacing backwards. The car kept creeping slowly. I pulled down my hood and stood still again, waiting for him to pass me. But instead, the man slowed to a stop beside me. The passenger side window rolled down, and the man and I met eyes. No words were exchanged at all, and before I could even let out a hello, the man grimaced and accelerated away at a decent pace, almost as if he was disappointed by what he had seen. It doesn't seem like much from how it reads, but I'll never forget how tense that interaction was for me. I've not felt anything like it since. And that one was shared by user Baby-Faced Janitor. Well, you know what? I think it's time for him to get a license. Yes, he needs to get a license and start driving. No more walking for you. Yeah, no more walking. Unless you're walking like in the damn near bright in the morning where the sun is high and people are out and you ain't in the dark alone by yourself. You know, you can go jogging early in the morning, but no walking at night. Never mind that. That guy was nuts. Whoever the hell that was in that car. Wow. But anyway, on to the next one. And this one is titled Haunted Supermarket. I work in a supermarket, early shift, and part of my job is changing the shelf labels for the price changes each day. Just this Wednesday gone, I was putting new labels on a shelf of hand soap when, about 2 foot along the shelf from me, a bottle shot off and landed in the middle of the aisle. I looked along the aisle at my colleague, and she just shrugs her shoulders and says, "Happens all the time." I've never directly witnessed anything else, but being one of the first on the shop floor each day, I'm now questioning all the items that I see sitting in the aisles first thing and guessing I can't blame untidy customers for them all. That one was shared by Nightlight Bunny Fright. I think it's time to quit that job. Yeah. So what's this? Is it time to call the Ghostbusters? So what? Products are just popping off the shelf? Either that's a ghost that's mad because he can't find what he's shopping for, or I don't know. I know ghosts shop all the time, so maybe he couldn't find a discount and he's looking for it and got pissed and threw something in the aisle. I don't know. Well, that's creepy. I think it's still time to quit, though. I think I would quit that job, definitely, and find another job. But on to the next one. This one is titled Weird Guy. My sophomore year in college, I ran into this guy that was a year younger than me. Let's call him Mitch. Mitch and I were acquaintances that ran in the same circles. He was a nice guy, smart and quiet. At parties, he would fold these really cool 3D shapes in the corner instead of interacting. He would always just watch everybody. Anyway, I ran into him at a bus stop and I stopped to say hello. We had an awkward chat, but our majors, him physics, me CHE chemistry, and I asked if he had any contact with a mutual friend that went into the army. He said yes, and I said, "Great. Could you pass him my number?" He opened his wallet and pulled out a piece of paper. The only thing in there, it had my name, university address, and phone number. That one was shared by user Clavel. What the hell? What? So this guy is like a stalker. They had their name, university, info. Oh, hell no. Time to get away from him. Yeah, he's a stalker. That's why he's sitting in the corners making paper cutouts with 3D. Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, it's time to get away from him. He's nuts. Wow. Well, that's creepy, I guess. It depends on how you see it. Or just weird. Might be a little more weird, but still pretty creepy. All right, well, on to this next one. And this one is called Murder Basement. I work as a cable tech. I once went into a basement that I still have nightmares about. There was a single pull sting type light in the center of the room, so I couldn't really see much until I turned it on. But the walls down the stairway were covered in old newspaper. I am used to the dark basements, so going to turn on the light, I was not prepared for what I saw. All the walls were covered in newspapers. Everyone in them was a headline about a tragedy or a murder. There was a black and white framed picture on the wall, and below it was a large child-sized porcelain doll propped up in a rocking chair with a super old-looking cradle beside it. I stayed and did my job, but I still can't shake that feeling of something when I think about it. Now that one was shared by a user named Invalid Turkey. What y'all think was in that basement? I don't know. That's mighty weird. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying these stories. I know they're not like reach out and grab you kind of creepy, but I mean like horror, but they kind of have a weird creepy vibe to them. Well, you know what? You let me know what you think about these in the comments. So I hope you guys are enjoying these, and I'll be back with chapter 3. But I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, chapter 2, and please check out chapter 1 of these true creepy accounts if you haven't, and let me know what you think about them. I hope that all of you are doing well and staying safe out there. I know COVID's still sneaking around out there, so I know this has been a pretty rough few years, so but I hope everyone out there is doing all right. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight and listening to these stories. I hope you're enjoying my narration. I know it's not perfect, but I hope I'm making these stories entertaining. These are supposed to be true accounts. They were shared. Some of them might be made up, so you never know. But I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, and I'll be back again with chapter 3. Oh, I put a link in the comments below where I wrote a short story, and I submitted it to this contest where readers have to vote for it, and it needs 50 votes. So in order, for it to be like published on this publisher's website. So if any of you want to just go in the comment section, just click on that link, and it'll take you to the story. Now the story, you won't be able to read it. You'll just be able to read the synopsis. Once it gets enough votes, it'll get published so you can read it. So to be honest, I think that's kind of stupid. I wish they just posted the story so you can read it and you know what you're voting for. But I wrote the story. It's decent. It's about this person's account of who had suffered from sleep paralysis and the experience they had. So, and she's now a mother, but she recalls her account of when she was a little girl when she had sleep paralysis and what happened to her in her bedroom. So if you just want to go over to click on that link and just drop a vote for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I can get enough votes where it can get published, and then you can read it and let me know what you think about it. So it's in the comments below. So I hope you swing by there and drop a vote if you want to. But I'll say it again. I want to thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope you enjoyed these stories. And I'll be back with chapter 3 for you. Let me know in the comments whether you like tonight's episodes. I noticed the comments have been pretty scarce, so I don't know. Maybe y'all afraid to comment. But maybe y'all just busy and just want to listen and don't want to say nothing, but that's okay. But if you do decide to drop a comment, let me know what you thought about tonight's episode, and let me know if you enjoyed it. And I'll be back with chapter 3. And until you hear me next time, good night, my darlings.